Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.
So Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today.
Super Speedway action. The wild card weekend. 3 races left of the postseason, and it's the round of 8. We're going to find a new driver to put in to the Final 4. Live here tonight from Talladega Super Speedway, it's the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series, live on V-Speed. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper, alongside our producer and co-commentator, Alex Gagnon. Camera packs provided by Dougie Beard. Alex, it's been a long season. Down to 3 races left, and it's going to come down to 4 drivers for the tail end of this at Phoenix. But this racetrack, it's going to be a wild card. It's difficult to win here. It's difficult to survive to even make it to the finish. Talk a little bit about what we have in store here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. This place is, it's difficult, and I know a better time, I guess, to talk a little bit about the fact that this place has got some absolutely unbelievable banking. 33 degrees of banking here in the corners of Talladega. You are flat out the whole way around this 2 2/3 mile super speedway. This place is fast, this place is mean, and we're probably going to see a lot of carnage here tonight.
Opened back in 1969 to rival Daytona when it opened up. Of course, it's flat, or it's wide, it's fast, but this pavement here, the outside line, this package, this car, we've had difficulties getting the pass on the outside line. We're going to see a lot of side-by-side, but probably getting that high line to work tonight is going to be difficult. So if you're a guy that's getting pushed, second, third position on the outside, better have a guy that's committed and devoted to pushing you past. It's going to be really hard to get around somebody. And with this new next-gen package, it's kind of made the racing here at super speedways difficult. And I think it's going to lead to us seeing a lot of green flag action here tonight at Talladega.
Yeah, definitely not a bad
look. Take a look at the points as well. And, round of 8, we're sitting here with a lot of talk about how Jeremy Burns exited the race early last week at Las Vegas, and that set him back a little bit here in the points. He's now 15 above the cut line. I think he's good. But Rob Rader taking over the lead. What a guy. I mean, he brought it on at the end of the season. So quiet through the regular season, but now we're in a situation where he could look like the 5th champion, 5th time, 5 in a row.
Yeah, it's suddenly become a very feasible opportunity, especially with where Burns' struggles last week, having to leave early. Rob Rader took full advantage of that, picked up the win at Las Vegas, his 3rd in the last 4 weeks. It's really put him in a prime position here, trying to make his way in.
And we're starting to pace around this place. We'll get the race analysis up on your screen quickly and talk about Talladega and how many laps we have on tap for tonight. 94 laps, the stage at lap 30. We have 6 tire sets available that should exceed what these drivers will actually use. We should have 2 green-white checkered attempts here tonight, and so 1 extra there on that analysis, but 50% fuel on our iRacing fixed setup. But now it's time to take you trackside and talk about your Coastal Financial Pole Award. Starting on the top spot here today, it's going to be Kyle Diaz running a 53.651. He's going to start just ahead of Jeremy Burns by about 0.04 of a second. Then you go back to Tyler Harrison, Mr. Consistent, and row number 2, Kevin Orlando Jr. will start in the 4th spot. Row number 3 belonging to Michael Reed. John Fike will start in 6th. 7th spot with Trevor Keith, Nick Alves. And rounding out your top 10, we have Alex Forget Berube, Michael Call in the 89.
Looking back to row 6, 4-time Rob Rader rolls off 11th. Daniel Holloway rolls off 12th. Trevor Erhardt and Justin Ritchie will make up row number 7, just ahead of Justice Murphy and Dakota Floyd. Row number 9, Parker Johnson and Kyle Stewart with your top 20. Oh, there we go, overshot it a little bit. Christopher Schaefer and Matt Robinson.
21st spot, you got a glimpse of it there with Grant Turner and Grant Thorpe. Carter Lenz is starting all the way back in 23rd position. Joe Joya in 24th, 25th with Caleb Gilbert and Brandon Richardson rounding out your field. Here we go with another race at a super speedway. Kyle Diaz into turn 1. We're live and racing for the Chapman Cup Series. They're already 3 wide coming off a turn 4 across that tri-oval. It's Tyler Harrison in the middle. He might lead lap number 1. He's getting a push from Jeremy Burns, and he's going to do it.
Great start here for Tyler Harrison. Jumped right up to the front. He's got Jeremy Burns with him, and our pole sitter, Kyle Diaz, starting to slide back here. He's the 3rd car on that inside row.
It was John Fike there in the middle as well, and he benefited from that, gaining 3 positions. Outside line, car dropping down low. That's Trevor Erhardt in the 41. He's going to go all the way to the tail end of this field in the 41. I don't think he likes the fact that they're going 3 wide this early in lap number 2, side by side for the lead again. John Fike is going to challenge the 45.
Yeah, as they make their way off of turn 4, Fike's taking a peek to the high side here. You've got Harrison still on the inside. The 65, though, with a really good push from Michael Call. He's going to get the advantage here going into turn number 1.
Big advantage for the 65. 2 car lengths now. 89's going to leave him out to dry, though. He's going to drop down in front of the 45 out of turn 2. Side by side again for the lead. We're going to see this all night long, Alex. It just the product of the racing. And I'm really surprised and impressed with the outside line right now with this package. We've seen a race just a night ago where the outside couldn't get it going, but everybody dropping down in front of one another, wanting to lead this race.
Yeah, right now, everyone, the 3 wide on the opening start has kind of settled in a little bit. Now everyone back to a little double file action. Tell you what, it's been a good start to the day for the 11 of Daniel Holloway, or the 21 of Daniel Holloway. He's up into the mix. So is Robinson there, right just behind John Fike. The 2 of them nose to tail. They've got the outside working right now through the opening couple of laps.
Pretty impressive. The 65 finds a way back to that outside. He's going to try to lead another lap. They have a big push here, and you can actually add Dakota Floyd into this mix as well. He's already gained 13 positions, with Matt Robinson gaining 18 to get up here to the front. They are on the move.
That they are. Plus 13 already. He's looking for a lot of these points here. Comes into tonight below or just around that cut line, trying to get what he can out of tonight. In Talladega, you never know what's going to happen at the end of the race, so if you can tack on some stage points here, it certainly puts your mind at ease just a little bit going into the back half of this race. Dakota Floyd now up to second, knocking on the door of Matt Robinson for the lead.
A little bit of a blink there on the outside with the 23 of Christopher Schaefer. He's back into the picture, though. Watching Dakota Floyd rolling in second position. Looks like the inside line has settled down a little bit here. 6th position on Christopher Schaefer, falling back. He has Michael Call to the inside. Top 5. Can throw a blanket over it, though. They're going to stay like this all the way through turn 4.
Yeah, I mean, these guys just glued to each other. Got a little bit of 3 wide further back in the pack right now. Rob Rader trying to lead that 3rd lane. He's back around the 15th position. And he's only got a couple of takers. He might pick up Christopher Schaefer here, though. As the 23, by choice or not, has been shuffled up to that 3rd lane. So they're going to have a little bit more support up there. But it's starting to get a little out of sync here because of those 3 lanes. You see John Fike now has fallen back about 4 or 5 cars compared to where Matt Robinson is on the racetrack right now.
And an elevator move in the background there. Rob Rader choosing to abandon the 23. He'll drop down behind. I believe that was the 24 of Nick Alves. 54 of Caleb Gilbert. This is back in 21st position. But Rob Rader started 11th. Has fallen out of the top 15. Don't worry. He's locked in.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's not too worried about today. But that's the other nature of super speedway racing, is that especially when everyone's still running multiple lanes here, it is so easy to lose positions in a hurry if you're just in the lane that isn't moving the right way. You know, for example, we've got John Fike. He's still leading this outside group, currently being scored back in 6th, though, just because the outside lane hasn't had the support he's needed to continue the battle up there with Robinson after these opening couple of laps. So even though where he is in line hasn't changed, where he is on the leaderboard has shifted quite a bit, just the nature of how these draft lines end up taking shape.
And what I predicted at the beginning of this race with the outside line is starting to happen. I think a lot of it has to do with the sparks that are flying off these cars. You watch them go into the corner, and if we could take an onboard with maybe the 8 car here, I think if we ride around and just look at the back end, take that hood camera and watch the sparks flying. That left front camera would probably show the best angle of it off that hood, but there's sparks all over the place. Bump there on the 39 of Grant Turner.
You also get a little bit of a sense here on the onboard just how tall the spoilers are on the back of these race cars when you're in line and you're really glued up behind someone. Say if we jump on board with the 66 of Carter Lynn's. I mean, visibility is not great. Even if you're on the outside lane, you can really only see the car in front of you. And that's kind of it. So you're kind of trusting that everyone in line's pushing the right way and doing what they need to do. Because otherwise, you're really not able to see a whole lot of what's going on. We got ourselves a little side-by-side up front for the lead again. The outside got recollected. John Fike going to go back up to the point here. Will he drop down, or does he stick with Kyle Stewart? Nope, he's going to drop to the bottom of the racetrack. And John Fike firmly in control of this race now from the bottom lane, as Kyle Stewart's going to try to lead that top group.
10 car gained 16 positions to get up here. Now takes over the lead. The outside pushes again. The 11 of Robinson couldn't get it going, and it looks like Kyle Stewart might lead this time by. He will by about 0.07 of a second.
You see that outside
line surging again.
Yeah, the outside lane starting to get just a little disjointed here. Stewart, Linz, and Richardson not really getting connected through the corner. And this inside lane, they're having the opposite problem. They're a little too stacked up at the moment. As you see, Robinson was just all over the back bumper of John Fike there. As they were going down the back straightaway, they're dancing down the backstretch. And there's some of those sparks you were talking about earlier, Bradley. I know we weren't able to find a good shot of it with the onboard, but we were able to see it pretty clearly there going through 3 and 4.
Yeah, and this is the package that we were talking about. And the underbody of this machine completely flat with a lot of downforce on this package. Plus the car weighs 3,500 pounds. As soon as they go into the corner, all of that inertia, all that weight is pulling on 33 degrees of banking and slamming this car to the track. It weighs probably double its weight in certain instances with the downforce and the air hitting the nose. So when you watch that 11 car bouncing off the racetrack, just know that he's feeling that in the wheel. It gets really heavy every single time they hit a bump. That wheel's trying to straighten itself out and pull you to the outside. And with what we're seeing here with Fike and the 10 car of Kyle Stewart, exactly what I was talking about. It's pushing them up the racetrack. They almost make contact.
Yeah, that they do. As you see John Fike now going to take a step back to the outside, side by side for the race lead through the tri-oval. Fike on the outside, Robinson on the inside. And to the point of what you were saying, I mean, you know, the high banking here allows you to keep the throttle down, but these are still 3,400-pound cars. They don't rotate on a dime, so you can really feel that pressure as this car, anytime you hit a bump and you're not fully attached to the racetrack, you don't have that level of mechanical grip that you need, those cars start shimmying up in a hurry. So we're seeing 3 wide really starting to form here, jumping in. Now, Joe Joya just jumped up in front of Rob Rader to form a little 5-car tandem there on the outside. Rader has been leading that charge pretty consistently, and now Richardson going to go with him the middle lane, as it were.
What a move there with Rader.
Yeah, and now Richardson thinking about going back. He's trying to play the lanes a little bit here.
And we're going to go almost 4 wide. Joya jumped up in front of the 53. He said, I'll have none of it. I want to keep this momentum going. And he's going to do the switcheroo, get back around Joya, and we're going to form another line of 3 wide all the way to the top 5.
What's wild is Rader thought about getting back to the middle. Michael Reed was there, didn't let him slide back on in. Pretty wild stuff. I mean, they are slicing and dicing for position here. It's only lap 13, but there's a lot of cars trying to get up to the front in a hurry. Is now Daniel Holloway back to the point here on the inside.
And just as fast as he got up there, Rob Rader back to 14th. Daniel Holloway on the top spot, halfway through to stage number 1, roughly, and a move back to the outside for John Fike. Cars coming down pit road, 53 into the pits.
And he was not the only one. There are several. Oh!
54.
Caleb Gilbert, sideways going through there.
He pulls it back, keeps it off the wall, I think, for the most part.
This is what
Watch
happened
here on the pit road entry.
Yeah, this was him coming to pit road just a moment ago. He wasn't the only one. There was several cars trying to make their stops here. And just overjuiced it a little bit.
He's going to end up with a black flag from that. He just kissed the wall on the inside. But not only does he lose time for that incident, but he's also got a hold penalty here.
A tough break for the 54. Really takes him kind of out of the picture here. The stage coming up in about 16 laps, lap 30, the scheduled stage here this evening. So early stop from those guys trying to top off on fuel, make it to the end of this thing. And, for 3 of them, not a bad stop. But for Caleb Gilbert, he's lucky he's got that stage coming up soon. Because, boy, that's not an ideal way to start it. But that is, there's at least still time to bounce back from it, assuming not too many other cars have trouble.
So a lot going on here very early in the strategy. Some of these drivers trying to split things in half. But lap 30, that's the target. A lot of fuel-only stops there with Nick Alves, Jeremy Burns, Rob Rader, Caleb Gilbert. Going to be stuck on pit road for an additional 30 seconds, and you can see it translate there on the box. He's going to end up falling a lap down. Nobody else committing to pit road on lap 16.
Yeah, it was an early jump from a couple of those guys, but you see a lot of cars starting to work their way to the bottom of the racetrack, which means everybody's starting to think about green flag pit stops here before the stage. You can't necessarily come down pit road if you're trapped in that high lane. You're not going to be able to work your way through traffic. So I think that's a lot of why we're seeing the field single file out down near the apron, is there's probably a lot of cars getting ready to make their stops here, potentially even this time by. It doesn't look like it, but everyone's
Nobody blinked.
Nobody blinked indeed. And that's what I get for trying to, predict when they were coming down pit road, I guess.
I mean, they're all to the inside, Alex. It looks like it, and I've been guilty of this as well. I think last night I probably predicted them to pit every lap for about 7 laps. And, if you try to gauge what these guys are going to do, you're going to be wrong almost every time. I've learned that over the years, that anytime you think something is consistent or right, iRacing is either going to have an update or we're going to be in a different car that just throws it all out the window.
Yeah, and that is the name of the game with iRacing. There you go. Just a lap ahead of schedule on my prediction there. Here comes John Fike, Kyle Stewart, Carter Linz, and more. Kyle
Locking
Stewart
it up.
launched it there. Oh, and he's still spinning right through traffic. Somehow didn't collect anybody else, as there's about 10 cars who all came down pit road.
I believe he touched John Fike just barely.
The car's
Another mistake on pit road. Kyle Stewart's going to get the black flag as well.
And that is, that's tough. That's another car here who's had issues on pit road as they were making their way around. Each green flag stop, there's been one of them. It's the dangers of green flag stops here at Talladega, just because the distance between where you're running and where you're at now, that's such a huge difference in pace. As here comes that last group, basically every other car on the racetrack now, down pit road with the exception of Chris Schaefer and Grant Turner. So another big group of about 10, 12 cars here, all making their stops. And Kyle Stewart, when that black flag ends, he'll probably be able to get out with this group.
So the 23 and the 39 stay out for an additional lap. They're the last 2 cars on the racetrack. But I'm curious, where is Rob Rader and that group? They're on their way. Coming out of turn 4 now. They've been pushing for a minute. John Fike kind of on the tail end of this. He's going to lose some positions out. Falls to the tail end. And leading this group, the 27 of Kevin Orlando Jr.
And you can see the other group just coming off a pit road here. Let's see, he's getting up the speed, and I think he is going to go by this group unless anyone really tries to cut him off here at the pass. There's a couple of cars who could do it. Holloway's leading this group with Robinson. It looks like
really close. They settle out around 10th.
Yeah, it looks like a good stop for that middle group. This Daniel Holloway looks to be in control of this thing, making our way to lap 20. Justice Murphy, though, going to take a step to the outside. He's not alone, as he has got a window full right now of the back of the 45 machine. Tyler Harrison now going to try to make this a two-lane race once again.
We're going to take a quick onboard with the 15 of Trevor Keith. He's working that outside line. Driver camera on the 15. There's a look. If we could bring up that telemetry, it is wide open here. Over 190 miles per hour on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. Down the backstretch, 194.
It's a little on board, not only with him, but what we're seeing from his point of view here on the old gyro cam. And it's just a lot of the back of Justice Murphy right now, but there's just nowhere to go. If you are the 15 right now, you're in a good spot in line. Just a matter of continuing to try to push.
Keep on keeping on. Trevor Keith, one of those drivers we talked a lot about as you watch the 12 kind of drop out of that view. We'll go back to our race camera and watch the 12 of Justice Murphy work his magic. The All About Bugs machine down low.
Yeah, he's moved his way up the third now after starting 15th. The only cars he's trailing right now, Tyler Harrison, who's got the race lead, Daniel Holloway, the second car on the inside lane, and then it's the 12 machine of Justice Murphy. We got ourselves an interesting little situation here. The field has really gotten shuffled up after that initial stop. And with only
big turbulence in the background.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Cars getting all out of sorts through the tri-oval there.
It was Dakota Floyd. You see all those yellow spoilers move to the outside with Carter Lenz jumping up the racetrack. The 9 in there as well. I'm not sure if somebody got loose there through the tri-oval, but that was almost a catastrophe with that move.
Yeah, everyone, I'm sure, pretty thankful that's still rolling the correct direction as we sit at the moment. That could have got real ugly in a hurry. So the front four single-filed out until you get to about Michael Call out there. He's got John Fike, Matt Robinson giving him a push, and then it gets a 3 wide. A little further on back, just temporarily now back to 2, although they're running the middle and the outside versus the inside and the middle. A lot of cars fighting for real estate out there, trying to figure out where they're going to be able to get a little bit of clean air on the nose of their race car, which is easier said than done in these drafting type situations.
Watching Michael Call on the middle line. We will call it the middle line now because the third line is developing. 11. Robinson jumps up in front of the 15. Trevor Keith going to give him the push. Michael Call getting a push from Fike. The 45 of Harrison, your leader, with Daniel Holloway behind. 7 laps to go when we cross the stripe for stage 1.
Yeah, things are starting to really heat up here. I think people are recognizing that things are starting to get moving. You see Holloway take a peek here looking for the lead. He didn't have a lot of support behind him. He's got Forget, who's working his way to the back bumper, but it took him a minute to get there. Now they're linked up, and they're battling with Harrison and Murphy. Michael Call all alone up there in that third lane trying to make something happen.
Change for the lead, the 21. On the outside of the 45. Is it going to be enough? Berube pushes him by. Fike almost clears. They'll stay to the middle. 3 car clear. That's the biggest run we've seen from the middle line.
Yeah, they really got going, and I think part of the reason of what opened them up was the fact that there's a third lane up there that's kind of making everybody get a little held up in the side draft. They were able to capitalize on it, though, shot right through the middle. Holloway is going to lead this group as they slide up in front. Harrison back to fourth in the third lane with Robinson now basically outside of the top 10. That is completely fallen apart up there. So you see the 45 also taking a little peek here. He's going to make a second lane again. He's got Grant Turner going with him.
And let's get a look at the onboard with Grant Turner. Let's see if he wants to give a salute right now. I don't know if he has time for it.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot going on.
He's got his
in
hands
there.
full.
Yeah, I'm about to say, there's a lot of focus that needs to be happening behind the wheel right now. That is for sure being right now. Second car on that outside lane. Sparks are kicking up as he's pushing Harrison. Murphy going to jump up there as well.
He's got it.
Ah, there he is.
He's got it. Back to that live shot with the 21, the 19, the 12 moving to the outside. 45 of Harrison giving the shove. We didn't show the pedal camera for Grant Turner, but if we're being honest, it's working one pedal here today. It's all throttle.
Yeah, there's not going to be a whole lot to see there because even in the corners, you're still basically going just about full tilt. Maybe in the draft, you're off it just a little bit, but not nearly enough to make it, I would say, that compelling of a sight to see here tonight. It is all about the mental chess, the mental strategy it takes to get yourself in position to time these runs with the draft, to get up there and to make something happen.
John Fike, Daniel Holloway across that line with 4 laps to go in stage number 1 from Talladega. 3 races left, 2 races to dictate our top 4. The wild card weekend with our final 8. 2 of those drivers that are up front right now, not even in the playoffs. One of them moves to the outside, gets in front of the 24. Nick Alves going to try to give a shove to Tyler Harrison in the third lane.
Yeah, it's starting to get 3 wide once again here. Only a couple laps to go until that stage break. Some very valuable points on the line here tonight for those playoff guys to try to get a little bit of a buffer in case something disastrous were to happen.
Making a 4th line.
Yeah, everyone just bailed on Nick Alves up there. Rob Rader's going to try to go up there maybe. Boy, it's getting real dicey in the middle of this pack here. Everything from about 7th on back. And this is about the moment where if you're on the spotter stand, you are just going crazy trying
Working
to keep
hard.
Yeah, this is where you get your money if you're a spotter here.
Yes, absolutely. 27 of Orlando Jr. moves up into the middle lane. The 8 of Richardson jumps up high. Third line, still trying to figure it out. 45 of Harrison taking the 15 down low to the middle. They still can't get it going. They're going to have to reorganize for these last 2 laps.
And now they've got Joe Joya up there trying to lead the way in that middle lane. Doesn't have anyone directly on the back bumper. With only about 2 laps to go in the stage here, Daniel Holloway in good shape. He's got Alex Forget on his tail. And the 2 of them have been rock solid ever since that green flag pit stop. They have been moving in sync as Joe Joy gets shuffled up to the third lane. And they're also going to be working their way onto the lap traffic here with Michael Reed coming up in just a moment.
Joya pushed up the racetrack a ton, and the 45 stuck his nose in there to move him up out of the groove. He didn't really even touch him, but he just said, okay, you're not coming back down. Car on the wall in the background. I believe that was maybe the 39 of Grant Turner. I can't quite tell there from that angle.
Turner looks to be on the bottom lane there, so I don't...
It's the 8.
Yeah, the 8 of Brandon Richardson, I think, got tangled up just a little bit. As they see, they're going to...
White flag.
They're going to work their way past Michael Reed here. Or maybe not. Michael Reed hard into the wall. I don't know what happened there. Heavy damage for the 91. We stay green. Oh, man.
Jump back up here, though. You've got Carter Lenz moving to the outside. Here comes Trevor Erhardt, 57, sideways. He saves it. Floyd's going to be shuffled out of the groove, but it's going to be a 3-wide drag race to the line. Daniel Holloway has the advantage. Carter Lenz with a push from Tyler Harrison. The top 5. Is it going to be enough? Do we wreck across the line? Daniel Holloway on the inside has the advantage by about half a car length. 45 to the outside, 3 wide. Daniel Holloway is going to get stage number 1. Well, they're extending it here. It looks like they're going to continue to go green. There it is. They froze the field. Stage winner, Daniel Holloway.
It's nicely done there from the 21. He did a great job keeping himself planted to that apron. And anytime someone built up a run, did what he needed to do to hold on to that spot. And he'll pick up the stage win here today in Talladega. And, we will take a look here at the folks who are going to be picking up some stage points. Tyler Harrison, Trevor Keith, Carter Lenz. Some big names there as far as the playoff drivers are concerned.
Yeah. Wish we could highlight those drivers in yellow here. But you've got Harrison. You've got Keith in there. You've got Lenz. Looking for the yellow spoilers through this top 10.
And there aren't that many, to be entirely
There's
honest.
really not. And
Wow.
just outside of that, you had Jeremy Burns ended up 11th. So he's not going to get points for this.
So another race here in the round of 8 where the 9 is going to go empty-handed as far as
But good news for him.
yeah.
The 53 of Rob Rader was 19th in that.
Yeah, so
He didn't get points either.
Which is a good and a bad thing. They are teammates, so I'm sure they were hoping for each other to do something out there, but tough start here. But that's the nature of super speedway racing, especially with the green flag pit cycle. Sometimes you just get caught up with where things are going. And it's a little easier said than done. Got to imagine pit road about to be a very busy place to top off on fuel here before we start this next run.
Well, we topped off on fuel for most of this pack. I think 4 tires at this point. With the way this car has been handling, pushing up the racetrack, I think everybody's going to take 4 tires. And we'll probably see a stop and go for the tail end of this race. But 50% fuel, we might have a 2-stopper on our hands. Daniel Holloway going to lead them into pit road. Beautiful camera work here by Dougie Beard and our producer, Alex Gagnon, as we watch the 21 of Daniel Holloway come down to pit.
Yeah, they got the full field coming down pit road here. Holloway into his box. Same with Erhardt. Looks like everyone going to be in their spot pretty good. We'll see who's going to get this race off of pit road. Holloway, good stop. Right. Really fast stop there for the 21. And then John Fike going to just get out there ahead of Trevor Keith. Those are your top 3 off pit road. Did not seem like there's a lot of 4-tire stops.
No, there was not. I missed it with probably 7 or 8 cars here in the top 10. A lot of drivers fuel only on this one. But it's a long way to pace around here at Talladega Super Speedway. When we come back, cycle that B-roll and talk a little bit about the remaining portion of this race. Chapman Cup Series live Talladega. 3 races left in the postseason. Wildcard weekend, back with more on V-Speed in just a moment.
Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.
So Chapman's been around.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Getting ready for stage number 2. Back here live on V-Speed, and the green flag is out. We're back underway for Chapman Cup Series at Talladega. Daniel Holloway got stage number 1. 21 car already getting past, going into turn 1 with the 15 of Trevor Keith on the high line.
Yeah, he immediately going to drop down to the inside of the racetrack. Trevor Keith now to the point, and the outside lane basically disintegrated by the time they hit the back straightaway. Only about 5 or 6 cars left in there. Cars entering and leaving at will. Right now, Trevor Keith, Daniel Holloway, Grant Turner all dialed in nose to tail. They're starting to get some separation here from the field just a little bit. That outside lane, they lost a lot of track position. Brandon Richardson leading that group all the way back to 8th.
So we were talking about the result there back just before the stage with the 91. We'll try to get that for you up on the screen. But the 91 got moved up the racetrack. Michael Reed ends up with a meatball flag out of that. That was back on lap 31.
Let's see if we can pull that up here. It's just going to take 1 second.
It's back here with the 91.
So this was them making their way down the front straightaway. It's turns 1 and 2. This is where they got together here. And I don't know if it was Reed was trying to catch the draft here, or they were thinking it was maybe going to be able to slide on down. I don't entirely know. Like one more look at it here. Hopefully from a slightly better angle.
That's a hard impact too.
Yeah.
Broke the entire right front suspension off that car.
Yeah, that was a tough hit. And that has significantly put him under some damage. He still scored a lap down here. So we will jump back here to the live shot.
Grant Turner getting past. Brandon Richardson going to lead his first lap of the day. And I do believe He was pushed by the 9 car of Jeremy Burns to get up here.
That he
Grant Turner
was.
was able to lead one.
Yeah, they are getting really shuffled up here in the front. Now it's Jeremy Burns to the lead for the first time here today. He's got Richardson down there on the inside lane. Nick Alves right behind the 9 in this middle lane. And then Kyle Diaz leading this group on the outside. We got 3 lanes once again here on lap 38. And a lot of cars moving and grooving, trying to find some track position. And a little easier said than done. There's a lot of potential for something to go wrong here, especially if the 24 is going to be blinking like that.
When Burns dropping down to that bottom line, heads up driving there by the 9 to see that Alves didn't have Joe Joya up on the bumper, so he wasn't going to get a lot of help. But that third line developing, that's something he couldn't predict. And that 26 car of Kyle Diaz getting the push from Rob Rader. 3 lanes wide. This is what we love at Talladega. Pack racing. Richardson drops below the apron. He's going to let this pack go by. That's going to hurt the inside even more. Diaz to the point.
And now the pole sitter back up front, really for the first time since the start of this race. He's got Alves and Joya to the inside. Rob Rader has got a couple of cars all the way up the hill here. He's got Caleb Gilbert and Michael Reed in that mix. And now Alves going to drop down side drafts with the 26. They'll be side by side through the tri-oval. And here they go across the stripe, basically at a dead heat.
Was about 0.03 of a second there across the stripe. Nick Alves now to the top spot. Rob Rader giving the push up to second position. They clear the inside. 91. That's actually mislabeled there.
Now the 91
car.
He is up there.
Did they have a fast repair in this race tonight that I didn't know about?
Well, he is scored 1 lap down. He still has some of that right front damage. I think just in the draft, he's able to stay with the pack, although I'd be surprised if they had that.
That car was destroyed.
That it truly was. You see, he scored 25th, 1 lap down, but he's the 3rd car in line here. And, maybe there was a fast repair that I didn't know about, because if that's the case, boy, the 91 all of a sudden really has a chance here to get back on the lead lap the old-fashioned way, especially if a yellow were to come out after he gets ahead of Nick Alves.
Yeah, there was. There was a fast repair here tonight that we didn't discuss in that pre-race and the race analysis. Sorry, that went over my desk really quickly.
No worries. I also missed it. This, to my understanding, this series very typically not the case, but maybe because it's a super speedway event tonight, they've tacked one on.
Well, I think at this point, this is where you tick laps away. And we've had some incidents in this race, but nothing that brought out the yellow flag. And we've stayed green all the way through stage 1 to lap 30. And we're continuing to stay green since that stage break at lap 42. Nick Alves, your new leader. 24 car on the bottom. Yellow spoilers for the top 2.
Yeah, they are settling in pretty good right about now. Starting to get a little single filed out in this group. And at this point, this is the kind of part of the super speedway racing that everyone just kind of settles in. And, this is the part where, especially if you're not in the lead, you can really start saving some pretty significant amounts of fuel. Because in this draft pack, especially with everyone all single filed out, you can probably afford to run at, say, 60, 70% throttle, stay right up on the back bumper of the car in front of you. And it lets you lap over lap save a decent bit of fuel. But if you're the race leader right now, Nick Alves, certainly going to be burning a lot more, punching a hole through that air at any given moment in time. And at some point here, if he stays out front, he'll be needing to come down pit road before anybody else. Or it is also entirely possible we might see some cars try to cycle through a little bit. Although with the nature of how close they're running together, that's a little easier said than done.
Where we're sitting right now in the halfway point roughly in this race, just shy at lap 43. You see Michael Reed there a lap down. The 53 of Rob Rader and Nick Alves have a little bit of cushion back to Caleb Gilbert for the 3rd position. But I'm going to throw you for a loop here, Alex Gagnon. Let's find those volume knobs here on V-Speed. We'll turn that ticker off. We'll turn up the volume and get a noise complaint here for these next few laps. Let's crank it up. Back here after that crank it up session, the sights and sounds from Talladega Super Speedway. Nick Alves, single file all the way through to the tail end of this group. You have to go all the way back to 24th position to find the tail end of this. This is actually the 8 of Brandon Richardson in 24th. They are single file all the way back here. I don't know if I've seen a dragon tail this long.
It's, especially at Talladega, not particularly common that I've seen. Because usually with Talladega, it's at least wide enough where people can usually afford to run too wide pretty comfortably and still make some decent time. Sometimes at Daytona, you'll see it a little bit. But yeah, everyone right now has collectively decided that they're definitely going to need to come down pit road again. They wasted no time making sure they got to the bottom of the racetrack to ensure they'll have the ability to get on and off pit road. And right now, they're cruising, which is, maybe not the way you'd normally describe Talladega, but I mean, I don't really know what else to say about it. I mean, it is a 24-car freight train at the moment, and Nick Alves punching the air away here from the lead. And he is certainly burning fuel at a much higher rate than anybody else in this field right now.
At the risk of getting V-Speed completely canceled, I'm going to say this straight line is presented by Michelob Ultra. That's how we're driving right now. Very chilled.
So they make their way off of turn 2 once again. You see Kyle Stewart going to take a little pop out there. He's thinking about trying to make something happen. He's actually off the lead lap at the moment, currently scored 1 lap down, so he's trying to get up there with Michael Reed. That is right there. There's Michael Reed. 3rd car in line, Kyle Stewart a little further on back. Those are the 2 cars 1 lap down. And right now, Michael Reed would be the car in position for the free pass should a yellow come out. Kyle Stewart going to try to work his way up there, I'm sure, but easier said than done if you have absolutely no one willing to jump out of line here with you. You have a couple cars way back there. See Justice Murphy, one of those cars who are going to take a pop out with Robinson, Grant Thorpe, and now we're starting to get back on the path here in this middle lane, but it's starting from all the way at the tail end of the field.
It's back there with Justice Murphy in 17th, 18th position. Dakota Floyd to the inside. It's about 10 cars separating those two cars a lap down with Michael Reed, which would be around the 3rd position, and then Kyle Stewart somewhere back around 13th, 14th spot.
Yeah, he's
just
currently
behind Grant Thorpe.
He's about the 12th car in line here, just behind Grant Turner. And let me tell you, this is one of those times, if you're Kyle Stewart, I mean, there is no hope of trying to get up there right now if you've got nobody behind you, man. That is it's a rough go of things.
And, you know, I talk about iRacing and the technicalities of how it works. If you get damage, say an incident were to come out right now, not trying to speak it into existence, but if a caution did come out, the 91 being ahead of Stewart right now would be that free pass position. If he were to get involved in that incident, he would not be eligible for a free pass because he was technically part of the caution. That's to prevent drivers from deliberately bringing out a yellow so they could get that free pass. However, because he's still ahead of the 10 car, the 10 car is still not eligible, even though the 91 doesn't get it. So that's the catch-22 here when the technicality has a lot to wrap around. Is that 53? Okay. I'm fired.
Yeah, that was nearly spoken into existence right there. Let's see. It looks like everyone's
all the way on the apron.
Yeah, looks like they got through it okay, but take a look at this. Rob Rader from second. I think something got unglued here. Caleb Gilbert was having a little bit of connectivity issues, and something got stacked up between Rader, Reed, and Caleb Gilbert going through the tri-oval here.
Wow. I've never made somebody have netcode like that. We really don't realize the responsibility that comes with the power we have in the booth, do we?
No. I mean, you know, we're just talking things out there into existence, and before you know it, bam.
Cars down pit road. John Fike, a lot of this field coming down now.
Rob Rader still
53.
having issues on the backstretch here.
He might be out of fuel.
Or, I don't know, we maybe have to go on board. I wonder if he popped something there in traffic. But yeah, cars on pit lane here.
Kyle Diaz, John Fike, Nick Alves, Alex Forget into the pit lane. But I'm fairly certain Rob Rader is out of fuel.
Yeah, he's still trying to work his way around here.
More cars down pit road now.
Yeah,
with the 7 of Joya.
That doesn't look good on the onboard with the 53.
Joya locks it up. He slid all the way past. I don't think he got a speeding penalty, though. I think he's okay, but man.
They can look at the
that was a lockup.
This is the 7 trying to get down pit road. He had several other cars going with him.
Watch him pass Reed on the inside. He locked it up.
That he did.
I think a blimp camera. Watch the ground. If we can watch that from the blimp camera, he gains, I would say, 4 car lengths on the 91 right here. That is closing speed right there.
Yeah, that it is. Holy cow.
And I'm throwing you, I know I'm tossing you all over the place, but Jeremy Burns now down pit road. The 27 of Kevin Orlando Jr. hitting the pit lane with them as well. First through 14th down to the pit road.
Yeah, everyone making their stops now. This is basically the rest of the field here. Getting service done 40 laps from the finish. And, you know, if they're coming down pit road 15 laps into the 30-lap stage is any indication, I don't think this will be the last time we see the field down pit road. Is everyone peeling away here behind Trevor Keith, who had a great stop.
21 is Daniel Holloway, Tyler Harrison. Here goes the pack on the outside. John Fike going to be the leader. As good as that stop was for Trevor Keith, they still lost ground to this group.
Yeah, this group is now going to have a decent bit of separation from the field. This is John Fike on back through Alex Forget. So it's the top 5 plus Kyle Stewart, who's tucked into this pack a little bit. And very notably, this puts now Kyle Stewart ahead of Michael Reed as far as the free pass situation is concerned. So now Michael Reed's on the back foot trying to get up there and try to get back into the free pass spot.
And black flags for Matt Robinson and Trevor Erhardt. Not sure if it was a violation coming off of the pit line. We have a blue code there coming onto the backstretch. They might have came up the apron too high and crossed that double yellow line as they exited the pit road. But Trevor Erhardt, Matt Robinson, 41 in the 11. Black flags around this track.
Which means they're going to have to come on down. The only good news for either of them is that they both got it. So they're at least going to have a drafting partner when they make their way down pit road and back onto the racetrack. You know, it's a small condolence, but this late in the race, you're trying to find any sign of positivity after something like that could potentially take you out of it.
And with the trend that we've seen so far, I won't even make mention of it. But you can put the race recap up on the top of the screen. Let the folks at home understand. As we lock it up, man, are they going to get another black flag? I don't know. I can't tell you if they did or not because they're still highlighted on my telemetry as having penalties. So that lock up there hitting the pit road, that's commitment that, hey, I'm already penalized. Why not?
Yeah, they're trying to make sure they don't lose any time there. And yeah, Robinson really juiced it. Looked to be okay, but...
Pass through. They're back out.
And that they are. Meanwhile, this the bigger pack here who came down pit road, they're starting to make a little bit of headway, or at least they were, until we started getting a little side-by-side here between Holloway and Keith. They're about 2.5 seconds back of the tail end of this pack. It's about half of the tri-oval right now between these two groups.
And at the top of your screen, I won't talk about the first statistic, but 21 lead changes, impressive, with Daniel Holloway, the stage 1 winner. Candyman. 21 car currently riding in 7th position. He's part of this second group back here, coming off of turn 2.
Yeah, and right now he's behind Trevor Keith, but I don't think he's thrilled about that arrangement. He continues to take a peek to the outside here. It might be trying to get some cool air on the nose of that race car, but this time fully bailed out. Nobody went with him, and he's going to be losing some significant track position here.
Going to get shuffled out to the high line. Tia Silva with another dollar coming to V-Speed. What do you think, Alex? Can you handle this? Can you do 99% of a lap on board with the 45?
Absolutely we can. So we will, we're seeing him kind of in this battle here now, second behind Trevor Keith, and we will jump on board with them when we hit the stripe next time around to do 99% of a lap here at Talladega on board with the 45. So we'll come back to that in about 2 seconds here. This lead group.
You're going to have to count the white stripes through the tri-oval.
Yeah, it's going to be a really fine-toothed effort, that's for sure. So there's the difference. You can see just for a moment the difference between this lead pack and the group behind. This lead group starting to get away a little bit.
Here we come across the start-finish line. Trevor Keith getting the shove, riding on board with Tyler Harrison. 2.6 miles you just got there.
And that was 99% of a lap on board with Tyler Harrison, currently scored in the 7th position.
They're
And,
gaining.
They are. They're starting
Watching
to,
back here.
now that they got single filed out and kind of got into a line where they were comfortable, you're starting to see them make a little bit more headway. So you see this lead group now going through 3 and 4. There's the gap. You can see Trevor Keith just a little bit behind this group. They're making their way through 3 and 4 now, and you see, I'm trying to see if I can find a wider shot. Maybe a little blimp shot might be a better fit here.
Well, I know one way to kind of convey the gain, show that last lap time. That's where it's going to be the tell all. Now the leader, 49.984. You have a little bit of a bug there with Travis Gilbert. That is
Caleb Gilbert
iRacing.
running an absolute heater
Yeah.
of 1.6 seconds.
Yeah.
I think it's due partially to the connectivity issues he's been having tonight. You see it keeps resetting every time it blinks on and off. But very notably,
But look,
about a tenth of
yeah.
two quicker here for Keith, Harrison, and Call versus, the lead pack right now. Just enough to start chipping away at that deficit.
Yep. And that has been kind of the trend for these last 7 or 8 laps that they've been on the racetrack. Keith and Harrison working very well together. They have Michael Call in the back bumper giving the push, and John Fike out front. It might not be enough to maintain this lead all the way to the next round. We know we're going to get green flag pit stops one more time.
That
This is a
time they were
weird window, though.
It really is. And that time they were 0.3 quicker. So that gap really starting to shrink just a little bit now, under 3 seconds from Keith to the leader, less than 2.2 now to Forget at the
They're on
tail
the
end
way.
of this line. They are starting to reel them in in a hurry now that they got single filed out.
And when you get within that 1 second window, Alex, that's when you start to pull the draft of the car in front of you. So when Alex Forget and Trevor Keith get less than a second apart, that's when you know sixth place has caught that front pack and they will pull up even faster. Those 1 or 2 tenths that we've been seeing will turn into half a second within a lap.
Yeah, that they will. So the charge is on here for that entire second group. Meanwhile, in this front group, they're trying to burn as much time off the lap counter as they can before that group catches them. Ideally, if you're John Fike through Alex Forget in this lead pack, you're going to be able to hit that next wave of pit stops before that group catches you. Certainly easier said than done at the moment, as that gap now barely 2 seconds. But that's what they're going to be aiming for, I have no doubt.
It was 22 laps on the stint. Fike now 12 laps, 10 laps back here to Trevor Keith. We still have about 30 to go. Would predict these cars to come down to pit road somewhere between laps 75 and 80. That would probably be the window.
Yeah, they're getting fairly close to it. And speaking of getting fairly close, that gap continues to shrink, under 2 seconds now between this lead pack and the second one, led by Trevor Keith. Doing a little onboard here so you can get a judge of the distance of what they're seeing. And every time they go by, it's about another 2 car lengths or so that they continue to chop off. And once they get into that magical range of about a second back, that's when you're going to see this entire wave, basically like a tsunami, just flood this lead group when they get that draft.
Well, and there's communication happening in the driver camera with Trevor Keith. He's obviously talking to somebody. They've been talking back and forth for a while here. He keeps looking up at that black box. He's talking. He's probably communicating with whoever's behind him in driver chat on the sim, trying to keep this car going.
Oh, and that gap's really coming down now. It's only 1.5 seconds. They gained about a half a second that last time by.
Tyler Harrison is pushing the hell out of him.
Yeah. These two got really down. They were having some trouble initially when Holloway was in that push spot. And now that it's Harrison and Call there, as Holloway dropped a little further back in the pack, I mean, they are there. They are within that magical second window. And now here they go. You can see that gap. I mean, it barely exists at this point.
Yeah, they've almost caught the tail end of 5th position. You're going to watch that interval shrink even faster here within the next couple laps. Harrison going to breathe here coming off of turn 2. They're within striking distance now. They're going to suck up to the outside. Would not be surprised if we see a second lane develop when they catch them.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked about that either. Everyone's going to have a lot of speed, a lot of momentum, nowhere to go with it. And where do they take that speed? And who's going to be the one to take it?
It's going to be difficult.
And does anyone in this lead
difficult.
pack jump out to try to block? That's where things start getting really dicey, as they have caught the lead pack. They are there now. They're on the bumper.
What I was saying that would be a little bit hard to pull off is because the 45 got detached. The 15 caught the tail end of Alex Forget in that 5th spot, and he pulled away from the 45. He wasn't able to stay glued to that bumper. And rightfully so, though. If you're the 45 of Harrison, you probably don't want to stay on the back of the 15. You want to make sure that you don't push him into the car that he's catching up to. He's going to lift, and you can't really see through him to know when that's going to happen. So heads up move by all of this pack. They drove it perfectly. They caught up. They did what they needed to do. It's kind of that hive mindset, Alex, when you're outside looking in, you're 7th, 8th place back, and you know the leaders. Oh, Michael Cole into the grass.
Oh, and he's still going through there. He's going to off-road it all the way past the cone.
And what a save to not get a penalty across that exit cone on pit road. If he would have put that left front across that yellow cone, he would have got a penalty. What happened here? This is a technical error.
Yeah, it's got to be. I've got no idea. But look at that job just to get to the outside of that cone. Fantastic stuff. We'll try one more shot here.
You're going to probably see this cone move. What happened? I don't think he was touched at all.
No, he certainly
Watch
wasn't.
the move back to the right.
Whoa,
Ugh.
man. So he's still running out there, but he is now away from this pack. As I think we actually had a couple of cars make their way down pit road a second ago. Carter Linz, a couple of other folks. Either that or they had just lost this lead group because they're here with a couple of guys who had black flags earlier. No, okay, they're just off the lead pack here.
Yeah, Carter Lenz back in 20th position. He's leading this group with Trevor Erhardt. You can see Matt Robinson in that group with Justin Ritchie at the tail end of it. I think it was just execution on pit road. We're looking at the timers. They lost about 2 or 3 seconds. They've lost the draft, and they just can't push back up here. They need a caution.
That they do, and there's only 25 laps left for that to come up, but they are also in danger of going a lap down. Race leader John Fike is closing in a hurry here. He's got Kyle Diaz, Caleb Gilbert plastered to the back bumper here. And the 65 just continues to run up at the front of the field here. Now 23 laps led on the day. This entire cycle of after the green flag pit stop here a few laps ago, I mean, it has been all 65 up at the front of the field here. And I think this little, the initial lead pack of 6 who are still kind of at the front of this field, I think they really understood what they needed to do to keep themselves in good track position and keep themselves in position for this final run. Because there was very little of any sort of infighting, as you could say, like cars going after it, as now they're going to make their way down pit road.
Pit road, here we go. The 65, the 26, the 10. 3 cars down lap 71 with Fike, Diaz, the 10 of Stewart.
So not a huge group who made their way down pit road, but there's going to be enough to at least try to get a little bit of a draft chain to going.
Now you've got Caleb Gilbert to the top spot. Nick Alves, Alex Forget, the 53 of Rob Rader, 3 laps down. Remember, he had an issue on the backstretch, pulled down the racetrack. Cannot confirm, but I want to say he was out of fuel. He had to coast it all the way back around.
And now Caleb Gilbert looking to come down pit road, and nobody's coming with him. That is not going to be a good move here for the 54. He has got nobody to help him out with the draft. He is going to be incredibly isolated when this pit cycle goes through. It's a lonely
That's
feeling.
not a situation you want to be in
No, not in the
at
slightest.
Talladega. That's communication, though, and we talk about the discourse and the teammates and all the people that you would talk to throughout a race. Sometimes there's miscommunication, and other times there's just a strategy that's beyond your control. He might have been low on fuel. He might have taken a little bit less the last pit stop as we watched the 24:53.19.
Looks like they
Locking
all
it
got
up for Joya.
Yeah, the 7 got a little locked up, but I think they all got it down in time. Another 4 takers for pit road here. Oh, now the caution's out.
Caution is out. It's Justin Ritchie in the 55. No, it is not. Somebody else was sideways. It's Michael Reed. What happened to Reed?
It was just after this group coming down pit road. Oh, Trevor Keith was trying to get back in line, and the two of them made contact. And then that's where he loses it, trying to save it through the grass.
I think that's driver of the day stuff there, though. He pulled it back to the left to keep it off of the pack that was storming by. It's unfortunate that we have a yellow, but it also changes the outcome of this race because we're going to group back up.
Yeah, and this is also in the middle of the pit cycle, which makes it incredibly, incredibly unfortunate for some of the folks who had already come down pit road here.
It was Keith that came down.
Yeah,
and again, it was that tag that we saw earlier with the 89 on the cone. To do all that, he fit that into a window to keep it off of the racetrack, trying not to take anybody out, but also not get a penalty. Heads up driving.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have a feeling pit road going to be a busy place with all the cars who are yet to make their stop. Prime opportunity here to top off, get what you need to do to make it to the end of this thing. 20 laps to go is in the window. It's also a pretty long run, especially for Talladega if it is the last run of the night. Talladega can definitely produce a lot of wacky finishes, especially in the closing laps when everyone's going for it. So it'll be interesting to see how aggressive people are going to be off this restart, especially if anyone decides to take tires here, being able to pit under yellow.
Well, Tyler Harrison all the way back to Dakota Floyd are going to have to come down pit road. They do not have enough fuel to finish this one out. Would expect Kyle Diaz to stay out on the racetrack. He's actually going to come down.
Looks like Carter Linz is going to stay out, though.
He's looking for a free pass position here. Kyle Stewart by. Be interesting to see who ends up with that free pass. I think it's going to be Stewart.
This is a very critical race off pit road. Very well. Might be the last time you're here. Looks like fuel only for Justice Murphy. He's down on the way. And he will get out there in front of Tyler Harrison, Parker Johnston, Grant Thorpe, Dakota Floyd, Grant Turner. Going to be your first couple cars off of pit road here.
And Michael Call with a speeding penalty into his pit stall. 89 going to set himself back to the tail end of this field. As you watch the 91 slowly working his way towards his pit stall, it's Michael Reed. He's had a lot of problems here today, but thankfully no damage on that machine. It's Joe Joya, Justice Murphy. For this next one, Joya stayed out. We'll get a lot of wave arounds and get most of this field back on the lead lap, with the exception of Michael Reed and Rob Rader. We're going to take a quick commercial break, take you side by side. When we come back, uninterrupted coverage from Talladega. You're watching the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series live on B-Speed. More coverage with Bradley Cooper and Alex Gagnon right after this.
Around for 32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.
So Chapman's been around for 30.
Doubled back up at Talladega. Joe Joya, Justice Murphy on the front row. The lights are off on the pace car, and we have under 20 laps to go here from Talladega Superspeedway. Live here on V-Speed with cameras provided by Dougie Beard. The iRacing pace car out of the way, and what would be our only official caution of the night, resetting this field. A lot of wave arounds, a lot of cars getting back on the lead lap, as that caution came out during our pit cycle for what could be the end of this race. Green flag back underway with Joya into turn one.
Oh, the back of the field's already slicing and dicing. They were trying to get that sorted out. Looks like they did in the turn one. Justice Murphy, though, he's got a mirror full of Fourgette. They are leaning on each other even in the corners right now.
Joya's going to hold on to the position, but he's got a little bit of a gap down that backstretch. And nobody wants to take that gap in the middle. 39 falls back. He's going to lose about 2 spots. Second lane with the 12 of Murphy, who restarted on the outside. Harrison giving the push to Joya. And you know Joe Joya wants a victory. He performs really well here at these super speedways.
Yeah, and he is certainly doing what he needs to do right now, leaning the inside lane with less than 20 to go. He's in a good spot here, although Harrison's not quite stacked up to him, which has let the outside lane, that's kind of 2 lanes morphing into one. Here comes Justice Murphy trying to play the lines right now. He's got the lead. Is he going to try to play pinball across all 3? He goes low, and here goes Kyle Stewart to the high side. He was off the lead lap
down.
Yeah, what a run here for the 10 out of nowhere. He spent most of the back half of this race a lap down. Now he's got the lead here on lap 79.
Where did he come from? That was a wave around just a moment ago, and the 10 car on the high line. He might lead a lap. 48 dives low. Parker Johnston to the inside, 3 lanes deep. all the way back to around the 10th position. Kyle Stewart officially leads a lap.
And he's up to the point here. He's got a mirror full of Kevin Orlando Jr. as they make their way into turn one. John Fike back into the picture as well. He's up to third. So many cars have been shuffled around here in the past lap. Joe Joya and Justice Murphy are now the 5th and 6th car, respectively, on the inside line. You see how far they got shuffled back. I mean, that was pretty wild. That was just a wave from the middle lane to the outside. Everything crested up over the hill. Before you know it, we have a completely different running order in the top 5.
I was looking at the stats for Stewart. It's actually his 3rd lap led. He's had an up and down day. He led very early. Now that I recall, he's had 3 laps that he's been up front. But in between that, it's been a lap down for the most part. He's had issues. But when you give this guy a chance to be back up front, the 27, a lot of these guys that were outside looking in because of that call on pit road, and now we reset this field, they've recovered. It's like a fresh new race.
Yeah, and there's a lot of those guys taking advantage of that right now because they're back on the lead lap. He is certainly probably the most aggressive of that story, but, you know, guys like Matt Robinson and Trevor Erhardt, who had the early black flag, they're back on the lead lap and mixing it up here in the middle of this field. So a lot of cars really using this as an opportunity to be like, well, all of a sudden is we're back at it.
2x2, sitting around the 9th position. Alex Forget to the outside. Looking back with the 39 at Grant Turner. Trying to get that outside line going one more time. Kyle Stewart down low. Kevin Orlando giving the push. They're working their way up to around the 5th, 6th position. They're going to keep it going. Is it going to be enough? Outside line has struggled with this package. Watching Justice Murphy. He's worked a lot of magic on that high line. Will he jump up in front of Alex Forget? Tyler Harrison. A lot of these guys that have been quiet all night long, trying to just survive here at Talladega.
Yeah, and this is very much the calm before the storm. Everyone knows that it's about to get really crazy in a couple of laps here when cars at the back of the field start realizing that they are out of time to sit and wait. But right now, everyone just trying to keep an eye on where they're at and what they're doing, making sure they're not being put in any sort of jeopardizing situations, making sure that they keep their car in one piece here, because when we get to about, say, 5-6 laps to go, I think that's when things are really going to start becoming unglued.
Watching the V-Speed chat. Tia, again, thank you for the donation. 99 cents on that one. We got 99% of a lap around Talladega with Tyler Harrison. Hayden James in the chat as well with Ruth Ann and everybody. Devin Fitzpatrick. Love you guys coming in here. And you know what I haven't seen a single time here tonight at all? I think they're scared. I think they need to say it. I see you, Burns. I saw it very early in this broadcast, and then it got quiet.
Well, to be fair, we haven't seen the 9 in quite a few laps here up at the front of the field. Currently scored in the 15th spot. I'm trying to see if he'll work his way up here. He could use the finish here tonight, especially with Rob Rader currently scored 3 laps down. Could reestablish points. Oh, Forget's around.
19 of Baribe.
Everybody's
10
spinning.
moved up the racetrack. Caution's out on lap 84. 10 laps to go. Grant Turner's going to have the lead, but it's the 10 who moved up the racetrack into the 19 across that tri-oval. Did he get help here?
Boy,
I
hard
think that was
hit for
Fike that
John
got
Fike.
to the. I think the Fike got to the inside here. We kind of hit the rewind a little bit far. This was, yeah, we're back to this moment right here. And if you watch, this is, he pushes up the racetrack. Nobody touched the back of that machine. Fight gets destroyed on the inside line.
Wild ride. We'll jump on board here with Kyle Stewart as well.
He's just going to move up the racetrack a little too much here. Fight gets to the inside and Rube's pinching down. There's half a lane to the inside for the 10.
Man.
And they're wrecking under caution. The 7 of Joya just got turned. Back this up. I don't know what happened to Joe Joya.
Let's see if we can take a look here, see what happened. They're all trying to get sorted out with the pace car.
I don't even know what that is.
I couldn't tell you either, to be entirely honest with you. I mean, and this is real-time speed. I mean, this isn't slowed down in slow motion. This is just everyone was rolling pretty slow here, and I don't know if I've ever seen a car shift up like that whenever it's going that slow. Man, maybe he was just trying to get back on the throttle. Who knows? There's more questions than answers, though, I feel like.
Very confusing times here in the closing laps. We ran this race so clean. And now we've had 2 cautions within the last 10. Do you think we've seen the end of it, Alex?
With the nature of the fact that this is Talladega Superspeedway, I'd be hard-pressed to believe that that'd be the case. This place has a real tendency to get up to some wild stuff, especially in the closing laps of a race. We've already seen them go 4 wide tonight and not wreck. We've seen them go single file, under caution, and wreck. Who knows what we're in for, to be honest with you.
Well, I think this is a perfect opportunity to bring a driver into the broadcast booth, and I think there's no better driver to bring up here than Grant Turner.
Let's see if we can talk with our current race leader.
I'm scrolling. I'm looking as best as I can. A lot of communication back and forth. And you know what? Surprisingly, not seeing Grant Turner in the Discord.
Well, I suppose that would make it slightly difficult.
Yeah, it would. I don't know where Grant Turner is right now, but you forgot to join the channel. Yeah, he's working on it already. All right. He's working on it. I'm not sure which channel he's going to jump into. If he's going to go, there he is. We've got Grant Turner. We could jump over to that camera and get a look at his face. He's the leader right now. And Grant, I know the way this thing's going, you never want to be the leader in the closing laps at Talladega. Everybody's going to work against you. What's your game plan to keep this lead for the end?
Survive is the best way to say it. I'm hoping in a way that I could get at least one person in front of me so I can push them because I'm great as a pusher. And hopefully I could use that to be in the best spot possible to do a last lap pass like I've done in the past.
So we go back to Atlanta, just in the truck series there, and or actually here. I know that you've had some super speedway wins. This is the racetrack that you thrive on.
Yes. Super speedways are kind of my specialty is what I would say. Most of the time I just love the strategic aspect of it.
Well, Grant, we have you up in the broadcast booth. Anybody want to shout out real quick in case things go wrong?
I want to thank everyone in the league putting on a great show. All the sponsors as well as you guys actually broadcasting this. I'm happy that I'm able to actually be part of the race and not having to work today. That's why I've been missing. And that's all I got to really say.
Appreciate you coming up here with us, and we look forward to the tail end of this race with Just under 10 to go. Grant Turner. See you in a bit.
Have a good one.
I'd like to thank Grant for jumping into the broadcast booth. We'll put him back down there in the waiting room. Could be victorious here for the tail end of this one. As we rack him back up. Double file. Pace car out of the way. 3 cautions, 27 lead changes. The 21 in the Candyman, your stage 1 winner. Going back racing. With the 27 of Kevin Orlando. Brandon Richardson on the outside. Green flag back underway at Talladega. Big jump to the outside for the 39. He jumped way out ahead and predicted that outside was going to get it going, but he didn't predict the move to the inside by the 27. He might get left out to dry. Here comes the 24 of Alves.
And Alves is immediately going to dive to the inside of the racetrack as well. 2-3 wide, deeper into the field. Cars are already bouncing off each other. We still have more than 5 laps to go here. But right now, it's Kevin Orlando Jr. currently scored up at the front of this thing, with Richardson giving him a heck of a shove into turn 3.
Will we see the outside prevail again? The 12 of Justice Murphy has been so good when he's leading this. But can he push the 39 car back up here? They're going to lose a little bit of ground through the tri-oval, but they'll get back to the door of Nick Alves into 1.
A lot of sparks flying as these cars are ricochet. Oh, big move from Richardson. Going to take a jump here to the outside. He's going to make it up to the lead. Grant Turner going to shove him from the middle lane. And just like that, we've got ourselves a new leader here, Brandon Richardson. Gutsy move. He's looking for win number 2 on the season. And now he's got the lead with coming to 5 laps to go.
Third line developing with Michael Call in the 89. 55 of Richie will move up to try to take that. But the 8 of Richardson across the line with 5 to go. Holding on to the top position. This has been a really clean race, but it's about to get hectic. Top 5. Only 1 yellow spoiler, and that's Nick Alves in 5th.
Yeah, still 3 wide. Justin Ritchie and Michael Call on the high side trying to make some forward progress. Easier said than done. Here goes Harrison up top. Alves leading that middle lane, currently scored in the 6th spot. They're trying to get something going here as they're starting to get more cars in the lane. Orlando Jr. jumped up there with them. And here comes the 27.
15.
Yeah, they're starting to get some more traction here, trying to reel in Richardson as he's going to try to block the high side, opening the door for Grant Turner down low.
That's not going to work. He's going to get left out to dry. Nick Alves is going to stay with the 27. What a move there from Richardson to move to the inside and be around the 3rd spot on that inside groove. They broke it all apart. 48 of Johnston's going to push him back up. But look at the 12, the magic I was talking about earlier. Here comes Justice Murphy to the 2nd spot, and he's pushing Grant Turner, who's maintained the lead.
Yeah, right now Grant Turner's got the edge, but it's almost a 3 wide dead heat as here comes Holloway up top, drops in. And now
I don't think he turned left on purpose. He got moved.
And it just so happened to work out that he slid into perfect position in front of Kevin Orlando Jr. Tense moment there for the 21 as we're coming to 3 to go this time around. And Holloway now has got the top spot. Here comes Robinson to the high side, who was down and out of it before that last caution.
If you thought this race was crazy before, it's going to get even more hectic. 3 laps to go from Talladega. The 2.66 miles of 33 degrees of banking. A blink on the outside from the 11. He comes back into the frame. The 27 of Kevin Orlando down the backstretch through the middle. Has the lead. Blocked to the outside on the 11.
Here goes
24
Robinson. He's
Valves
sideways.
turns the 11. They're going to save it.
They're
They're
trying. There
trying.
goes Diaz.
26 of Diaz is going to trigger it into the outside wall. 4 or 5 cars in the background. That is not where I expected that caution to come from.
Not in the slightest when Matt Robinson was sideways at the front of the field, but the caution is out with 3 laps to go. And let's take a look here, see how that all unfolded.
It's overtime here.
Looks like Diaz got tagged by Raider, but I mean, I would say that's hardly where this incident started.
Richardson into the outside wall. He gets the worst end of that. He wasn't even really a part of it. Look at that. How do you save that?
Let alone
Thank you,
once.
Trevor
He
Keith.
did it twice. Because then he got back in now, and somehow that 11 stayed in one piece. Unreal. Meanwhile, when we jump back here, take a look here at Brandon Richardson. This is someone
actually
who
11. I don't know who that was. I think it was the 11 of Robinson.
Well, it was the 11 of
that.
Robinson who saved it. I'm just taking a look here at Richardson because he did not get a better end of this. He's going to be sideways and back up the racetrack hard into the wall.
Sorry we weren't on the same page there, but I was watching the 11 that went sideways, and he bounced into the door. I think it was the 15.
Let's take a look here one more time with Matt Robinson.
He's having a little blink issue there coming out of turn 2. I'm pretty sure it was Keith. Yeah, it was Keith that moved up in front of him. He dives down, gets sideways, and then straightens the car out off the door of the 15. How do they not kill each other right there and destroy all those cars in the top 5?
Truly phenomenal, to be honest with you. I have no idea how that wasn't, the entire field wrecking. But alas, they persist. So we'll jump back here to the live shot. Robinson has brought it down pit road, trying to get some of that damage repaired. Even though visually it looks fine, it was a phenomenal save. I don't think it was enough here for him to not have to bring it down pit road. Several other cars, a part of that incident, going to be stopping as well as we are getting ready for a little bit of a Chapman Cup Series overtime.
Watching Kevin Orlando, Nick Alves on the top spots. They'll be side by side for this next restart. Your stage 1 winner back in 3rd. And as I continue to look through this field, you've got Trevor Keith with a yellow spoiler. Tyler Harrison also on the point here. Let's say Justin Ritchie forgot to take his yellow spoiler off of his car. You got Carter Lenz in 11th position. Jeremy Burns in 12th. Playoff contenders. These last 3 races, I called it a wild card night. I didn't think it would get this wild.
It's certainly getting up there as this field has been shuffled every which way to Sunday. And yet they're going to have to try to figure it out here in a 2-lap sprint to the finish. Easier said than done, that is for sure.
So our first attempt at overtime. What do you say I take the reins here on this one, Alex? You got a lot on your plate. So when we take the green flag, we will have 2 laps to go. Drivers will hit that restart line, and if we make it back around the racetrack for the white flag, the race will be official as that leader crosses the stripe. We'll run it all the way out regardless of what happens. We have another incident within that lap of 2 to go. We'll rack them back up for another attempt at a green-white checkered. So green flag comes out, white flag the next time by, and the checkered flag dictating our winner. If we do not make it back to that white flag before another incident after 2 attempts, the race will be official. And it's Kevin Orlando hoping that this race goes either one of 2 ways. He stays up front with Nick Alves, or we have a caution 2 times in a row before we hit that white flag and he's up front. Either way, he is in the worst position statistically imaginable at Talladega. I do not want to be the leader, Alex. We talked about that earlier. We talked to Grant Thorpe about it, or Grant Turner. It's just not where you want to be.
It's really not. It's not an enviable place just because everyone's going to be doing everything they can to knock down your bumper here because it's basically a step away from being legal at the this kind of racetrack. Everyone's going to be going wild. Just got to hold on, hope it sticks. Also want to give a big shout out there, Bradley, to the newest member of the V-Speed Fast Pass community there.
Tia Silva, appreciate you as always. Let's see if we have a fast pass with the 45. He's going to restart in 8th position. We have Kevin Orlando Jr., Nick Alves, Daniel Holloway, Michael Call, Justice Murphy, Trevor Keith, Alex Forget, Berube. Then there's Tyler Harrison, Justin Ritchie, and Parker Johnston in that top 10. The yellow spoilers, as we are a week away from eliminating 4 more drivers. A week and 3 laps. What could be the end of the season for some of these guys. It's all coming down to this. And if you didn't have a victory or a guarantee, this is the racetrack where you could get that. Looking ahead at the schedule with Martinsville, Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series is going to get short track style before Phoenix. And the chaos is going to be just as much here as it will be at Martinsville. You didn't want to leave this up to chance. We talked to Rob Rader about how he felt alleviated getting his victory last week at Las Vegas. He could come into tonight with anything happening. He's 3 laps down in 26, but he is locked in to the Final 4. Who else is going to do it? Are we going to have a driver outside of the playoffs that gets it? Green-white checkered attempt number 1 underway at Talladega. It's overtime for the Chapman Cup Series.
Already Kevin Orlando Jr. trying to work the lanes here before they even get to turn number 1. He has a huge gap behind him, the Holloway. That's not going to be good. Here comes Nick Alves on the high side. He's looking for the race lead off of turn 2.
And Alves gets a jump, but he doesn't have a car glued to his bumper. Kevin Orlando getting a push from the 21.
Diaz hit the wall.
Diaz in the background, off the wall. But you have the 27 with the 21. Big push into turns 3 and 4. Will we make it to the white flag? They're pinching down here. Alves can't get it going with Michael Call on the back end. Here we go through the tri-oval. Will we make it there? It looks like we will. One more time around, presented by Erhardt Homes. Love where you live. And it's Kevin Orlando taking the white flag. But will he have challengers? The 15 and the 21 could step out at any moment. The inside line is very organized here. Carter Lenz, who was a lap down a moment ago, he's going to step out. The 45 of Harrison. Car sideways. That's the 12 of Murphy in the background. We're going to keep going through 3 and 4. The 55 of Justin Ritchie. To the inside, a big shove. Lenz staying single file. No one making a move just yet. Here comes the 15. They're going to stay in line. Kevin Orlando with the victory at Talladega. The 27 car found his way to victory lane. Podium spot for the 27. Trevor Keith and Justin Ritchie, the top 3. But it was Kevin Orlando who led 1 lap here tonight, and it was the most important one.
0.04 of a second, the deficit. Kevin Orlando Jr. doing just enough to make it work. What a drive. As you see cars wrecking in the back there. Alves and Raiders sideways in 4. Oh, man. What a day. What a drive.
It took an additional 3 laps here tonight for Kevin Orlando to find 1 lap lead. And the 27 car going to get that screenshot on the front stretch as Barney the flagman reminding him that he is victorious here today. Trevor Keith and Justin Ritchie. Thunder on by, but a solid day for a playoff contender with Trevor Keith.
Dakota Floyd
Trevor
slides
Keith.
on in.
Trevor Keith needed 22 points here tonight, but it was a solid day for him. he should make up a lot going into Martinsville as we watch Kevin Orlando burn it down on the front stretch.
Very popular win amongst the field here tonight.
Had a lot of off-track conversations with Kevin Orlando. He's one of the group that helped make this thing go around, and he's going to blow it up.
Yeah, I don't think that thing's going to be moving anytime soon. Everyone else going to try to be blowing their engines as well at the end of this thing.
Everybody giving a push here to the 27. Everybody blowing it up. So now we need to find him.
There
If
he
we
is.
could just take it back. If we could take it back just a few laps here, back to that restart in slow motion, and just take it back to that white flag coming out
Oh, you
while
bet.
we have him in the broadcast booth.
Well,
I want to go back to that recap of, you know, the move there on the restart and getting Daniel Holloway to the rear bumper. It was perfect. It was nice execution, but again, you don't want to be the leader at the tail end of these things. I guess with this one, maybe I'm wrong. There's
There we
the
go.
27 coming across the line. We're going to get the green flag here. We're going to pull him into the broadcast booth. He keeps moving around on me. People keep pulling him around. It's making it more and more difficult.
Trying to hit a moving
pull him in
target.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to get him in here. Race winner, Kevin Orlando Jr. How about wild card weekend? It treated you well.
You know, it's about time. It's about time. You know, this has been a track that we struggled at in the past. So to be able to actually finish a race and not be in the wall on the last lap, that's really nice. And to win, it's even better. So couldn't ask for more. That was a great one. That was a fun one all the way through for the most part. It got a little bit boring there in the middle. We were on a fuel strategy. Everyone was trying to figure out what was going on. But, you know, before that, first stage, you know, it was nice and dicey, 3 wide for a lot of it. And then the end there was definitely exciting.
The end of this race goes against everything statistical that I've ever watched on V Speed. You are the leader coming to that overtime and that green flag. You played the lines well. That's where I know a lot of drivers make mistakes, is trying to control both lanes. But somehow, some way, you were able to keep your car in the right position with the lines that had momentum and stay up front all the way to the end.
If I knew how I did it, I'd probably be able to win some more of these things. But, you know, I think a lot of it came just down to luck. You know, I also, you know, a good little bit of help seeing who was behind me. I mean, the 15, didn't know what he was going to do, but I saw that the 55 was behind him, and he's always been good. You know, even though we got into each other a little bit last week and had some words, but you know, I knew if the 15 made a move out, he was probably most likely to get to my bumper and give me the extra push. So that little extra confidence, thank you for that. And you know, I think that went a long way with us being able to make it happen.
Kevin, I got to ask you, because there is a little bit of talk about it. Is there a rule for a lane change before the start finish line here at this racetrack?
There is, and that's why I got back down, because I wasn't trying to change lanes, but I was expecting him to go up higher on the track, and he just didn't. So when I saw that he stayed down off the wall, I moved back down. But you know, we'll have to see how that gets reviewed. You know, as the leader, I have control of my lane. You know, and it's not like I took it all the way to the wall or stayed in front of him or anything. So we'll have to see how they interpret that. But you know, it'll be interesting to see.
Well, I'd hate to have an asterisk next to anything, but
Yeah,
here,
that
as it stands
never
officially,
happened before to me. You know.
well, never happened before. Well, I can tell you what, it did happen here tonight. You led 7 laps. I misinterpreted that as a 1. I'm watching it on the live telemetry here. You got 7 laps now. You started in 4th. Up and down day, things all over the place. The race fell apart for a lot of these guys at the tail end. You capitalized on it. You're victorious. Who do you want to shout out?
I got to shout out the team. You know, Carter Lenz has been great all season. Joe came through tonight, and then the guys over at Arm Speed. You know, we've been working together on super speedways to try to combat some of these larger teams that have found a lot more success throughout the season. So working with them tonight was a big help. And shout out to the rest of the admin team. It's been a long and interesting season to say the least, and they've been doing a great job at keeping things moving in the right direction. So this one's really about them too.
Got a lot of people shouting you out here in the V Speed chat as well. Appreciate you coming up here and talking to us again. Congratulations on the victory, and we'll see you at Martinsville, where I'm sure you'll be as equally frustrated, but maybe equally as successful. Kevin Orlando, Kevin Chaos.
I'd be less frustrated with these races if I was still in the playoffs, but we'll take what we can get, take the momentum into next season. And to those of you in chat, thank you very much as well. I'll have to look and see who it is, but I appreciate it.
Kevin Orlando, we appreciate you coming up here as well, and we'll see you next time at Martinsville.
Yep, see you at the short track. Thank you very much.
There he is, race winner in the number 27. We're going to take a quick break here and round up those final race results. We've got some other drivers to talk to with Trevor Keith and Justin Ritchie. You're watching the Chapman Cup Series live on V-Speed. More coverage with Alex Gagnon and Bradley Cooper right after this.
Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. It's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
All About Bugs Tennessee Pest and Termite Control is all about family too. Our family-owned business has successfully been in operation in Sevierville and surrounding areas for almost a decade. Especially during these times, a pest-free home is necessary for a sustainable, disease-free home or business. Our services include residential, rental, commercial, hotel, motel, cabins, you name it. Free quotes and inspections for new customers, and most of our services are contract-free. Our All About Bugs Tennessee family is devoted to delivering the best possible pest control service with a friendly smile. Contact us at 865-453-5574 today.
If it's bugging you, you should be bugging us.
So Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Do what it takes to Gentlemen, start your engine!
Welcome back live here at Talladega Super Speedway. Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series action has concluded with 97 laps into overtime as we started out this race with 94. Your winner here tonight, Kevin Orlando Jr. The wild card weekend with 4 cautions and 32 lead changes. Your stage 1 winner with Daniel Holloway is going to end up 4th. You got Trevor Keith, Justin Ritchie for the top 3. We'll get a word with those other 2 drivers on our podium in just a moment. But it's Tyler Harrison, another top 5. They're the 45. Outside looking in, he might be part of this final 4. Michael Call will finish in 6th spot with Dakota Floyd. And you talk about the gap here between 1st and 7th position. It's less than a 1/10 of a second across the line. That's how close it gets here at Talladega. It was 2 and 3 wide there across the line. Carter Lenz will finish in 8th with Matt Robinson in 9th. And Joe Joya in the 7 will round out your top 10.
Looking on to 11th, Nick Alves will bring it home P11 tonight. Caleb Gilbert will be 12th. Jeremy Burns 13th, just ahead of Brandon Richardson and Alex Forget Berube. Michael Reed rallies back for a 16th place finisher here tonight. Trevor Erhardt 17th, just ahead of John Fike, who led a bunch of laps here today. The pole sitter Kyle Diaz will be 19th, and Grant Turner will finish 20th.
We'll go back there to Matt Robinson finishing behind Carter Lenz. It was 4/1000ths of a second there for 8th and 9th. Well, you move down here to 21st spot with Grant Thorpe in the 77. 22nd position with Parker Johnston. Justice Murphy turned sideways there on that white flag. He'll finish 23rd. Christopher Schaefer in the 23 will finish in 24th. And then Kyle Stewart, who had the lead there just before that caution that brought out the green-white checkered, he'll finish 25th. And it's Rob Rader thanking everyone that he is locked in already for Las Vegas, and he will be part of this Final Four. He'll finish at the tail end of your field. But we have more drivers to talk to, and the next one we're going to bring into the broadcast booth is your second place finisher. It's Trevor Keith in the number 15. Alex Gagnon has caught up with him.
Hey,
Hey there, Trevor. You got a copy?
I do.
Well, I'll tell you what. Came into tonight needing a bunch of points. Talladega is one of those kind of races where sometimes you get it and sometimes it's everybody's worst nightmare. It looks like you ended up on the former side of that here tonight. A great night for you, bringing home the P2. What was it like out there doing a little bit of super speedway racing for the last time this season? And what was that green-white checkered like trying to get up there for the win?
Oh, these things are stressful, man. Gosh, they're so stressful. It was. I had a good run, got some stage points. Caution really screwed me there. I got shuffled to the back, so I had to really work those last 10 or so laps to even get up there. And finally, I was just working with guys, my teammates, and finding them helping me and trying to get to the front. And then at the end there, it was trying to find a way to get by Kevin, and if I just couldn't do it because Richie was going to stick with Kevin, and Carter was going to either stick with Kevin or leave me out to dry. And I don't blame him; he needed to, right? It's part of it. And so I just didn't have enough to get by Kevin there. I wish I would have won that race. That's another tough second. I'm not going to lie to you; these seconds are getting pretty old. They're great points, but I'm still minus 11 now going into Martinsville, and that's just I'm going to have to either do a lot to race minus 11, but I stuck my nose out, but it was too late. But if I'd have done it any earlier, I would have probably fell to like 5th or 6th. So we maximized the best finish we could, got some stage points, went from minus 21, 22 to minus 11 today. I mean, great points today. We're just going to have to run great at Martinsville, and last year I think I won the stage and was right there to win it at the end until I hit the incident limit. So we just have to be smart at Martinsville, get some practice in, and be fast. Qualify up front, stay up front all day, see what I can do.
Well, we are excited to see that. I mean, hey, you got 11 points of that 22 you needed today. Another performance like that would get you right to the line where you need to be. So, it's definitely a very feasible thing. And, you did run really good at Martinsville last year, so that should be exciting to watch as well. Trevor, ultimately, though, if nothing else, you are very much in the mix here today. Another podium finish for you. How was I know you talked a little bit about wanting to, practice and capitalize here for Martinsville, but what is the mindset going into a short track race knowing that it's going to be all track position and you're going to need every little bit of it that you can get?
Qualify where you're going to work to qualify up front. We have to qualify up front because if you mess up qualifying, qualify 15th, you're going to be right in the thick of things and probably suffer damage somewhere trying to get to the front. And I'm sure of it. If I stay up front, keep the car clean, keep the nose clean, keeps the incident limit down, unlike last year. It's a big thing. The best way to keep the car clean is to be up front, be around nobody, right? So that's the plan. That's the only goal.
Well, excited to see it. Trevor, congrats on the podium here tonight. I know it's one spot short of where you'd like to be this evening, but still a good points day for you. Anyone you'd like to shout out here tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out LFM and RTR. We all work together really well. We do a really good job there. Daniel was helping me out there at the end, trying to push me to Kevin, and I think he wanted me to go with him there at the end so we could get up front, and I didn't like it. So unfortunately, he got shuffled back, but he still finished fourth. Still good finish for Daniel. Shout out V-Speed as well. You guys do a great job as always. We'll shout out the league sponsors, Chapman. Wow, I am blanking. Why am I blanking?
Hey, it's okay, Trevor. If you thought that this week was stressful, wait till next Wednesday night.
I'm winding down, so I'm missing a lot of sponsors. Coastal Financial, Alabama Bugs, Erhardt Homes, Enginuity Power Systems. I think that's about it. Anybody I missed? This league's so fun, man. It's so to be on the sim and be stressed out about trying to make the Final Four because this league's so good. I mean, it's great. I love it. It's a great competition, man.
It really is. Well, Trevor, thank you so much for dropping by. You are part of the reason why the competition here has been so fun to watch week in, week out here on V-Speed, and excited to see what you bring to the cutoff race at Martinsville next week.
We're going to bring some speed. That I'm sure of.
And that is your second place finisher here today, Trevor Keith in the 15 machine. Bringing it home P2 and getting a little bit closer to the line to gain.
We're going to round off the post-race interviews with your third place finisher, Justin Ritchie. And Justin, first off, I got to address that yellow spoiler that you forgot to take off that car. You threw me off a couple times. Man, if you did have that yellow spoiler, though, this would have been a top-tier night for you. You seem to thrive at these super speedways. You've done quite well at them statistically. Walk us through your race, though, to get back to third.
Yeah, I was just trying to weasel my way back in. No, I'm kidding. But, yeah, it was a really up-and-down race. We qualified mid-pack and decided to try to make a third lane really early. That didn't work. We got cycled to the back. So then it was just a matter of waiting for the stage and trying to get up on the pit cycle. Luckily, the first pit stop after the stage, I locked up my tires and rammed into the back of the 11. So apologies to him. That gave me pretty bad nose damage and just put me behind the 8 ball for pretty much the whole race until that last caution. After the long green flag run, I was able to get it all fixed. And the seas just kind of parted for me. We're in an alliance with Kevin and them, so I didn't want to make any waves. So I was stuck to his bumper no matter what TK did there at the end. So yeah, it was pretty cut and dry.
Well, you say cut and dry, but this race had a lot going on in between all of that. We had a really clean race from the green flag to the stage all the way up to about lap 60. And then things started to change a little bit. We had cars catching back up after green flag pit stop cycles, and right there around lap 74, we threw it all out the window.
Yeah, that like I said, that caution definitely saved my race. But that's just the way the end of these super speedways go. We've got a ton of talented guys in here, and when you get a bunch of talented people focused on one goal and only one of them can achieve it, there's going to be some chaos.
Couldn't agree more with that. And we have a common goal here as well. Let's see if you can do it. Shout out anybody that helped put this 55 car on the podium, and then let's see if you can get through the list of sponsors here as we try to plug them one more time.
Absolutely. Okay. So first off, big shout out to my mom. She's watching the broadcast. Big shout out to all my Orange Speed teammates and all my OMT Alliance teammates. That was fun racing with them tonight. Big shout out to obviously all of the admins at Racing Rev. Shout out to V Speed. Then shout out to All About Bugs for putting on this race. Shout out to Chapman for always funding the series and keeping us going. Really appreciate their support. And you got to feed me some more because I ran out of the sponsors I need to thank.
Well, you have Enginuity Power Systems.
Massive shout out to Enginuity.
There you go. And then you move on. You already got All About Bugs, so there's that one. You got Erhardt Homes with the white flag as well.
Big shout out to Erhardt Homes. Love them.
Okay. All right. Do you have any more that you could get off the top of your head, or you want me to just go through the list here?
You know what? I think I figured out how to do it. So let's just cut schedule here. All right. Shout out to Coastal Financial, Collision Centers of Nashville, Recharge Rally, KLD Truck Repair, Recharge Rally, OnQueueEquipment.com, The Flying W, sponsored by Winnebago Industries. Let's see. V-Speed got that. KSX Graphics, love them. Hot Wheels. Shout out to Hot Wheels, Shield Protection and Equipment, Lens Heating and Air Conditioning, KLD Truck Repair, Blue Ridge Volunteer Fire Department. Big shout out to them. And we'll just shout out Chapman again because they just do so much for the series.
He went through the whole season, I believe, here, Alex. But Justin Ritchie, appreciate you coming up here, and an excellent job. You got them all, and we'll see you next week at Martinsville.
All righty. See y'all then.
Justin Ritchie in the 55. That might be the most sponsors I've ever heard thank, besides the 9 of Jeremy Burns. He has a list every single week. He's got a lot of people backing him up. And you know what? I hope there's a lot of people backing him up because it's going to get tighter and tighter going into the end of this thing. Rob Rader, Jeremy Burns, still doing it. We got only 2 races left, 1 left here to eliminate it down to the final 4, and it's coming up on Martinsville weekend, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. You can catch it here live on V-Speed as we get set to go green flag racing for the final race of the round of 8. This is Talladega. It finished up well. Kevin Orlando Jr. becomes victorious. For everybody here at Racing Revolution, Rob Rader and the admin team, everybody at V-Speed, for Adam Baker, Eddie Smith, and Morgan Cook, our producer and commentator, Alex Gagnon, and his second ever broadcast production, putting on a fantastic show, Dougie Beard for the camera packs. This is saying so long from Talladega. Stay tracking, everybody.